Hi everyone, this is Darcy Geho, owner of Digital Darcy and administrator of this group. I just wanted to talk for a few minutes today about if we're all ready for 2021. So it's December 31st, so happy New Year's Eve, and I hope you're all doing well. I'm going to jump right in. As you come on, say hi. If you're catching the replay, tell me that too. So basically, I'm just going to talk briefly today about a few steps to take to make sure that you're ready for a new year in your business. And there's basically 4 steps I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about setting your goals. I'm going to talk about making your plan. I'm going to talk about keeping track of everything and how to do that plan. And then I'm going to talk about evaluating and analyzing things along the way. So first of all, it's important to, as you look towards a new year and think about 2021 and where you want to go with your business and what you want to have happen, it's important to set your goals. And there's a couple of things to keep in mind as you do that. The first thing is that you want to make sure that the goals you're setting are measurable goals. And what I mean by that is you have to have a way to, it's sort of like weight loss, right? So if you say you want to lose weight, the first thing you do is you weigh yourself and see how much you weigh now. You figure out what your goal weight is, and then you know how much weight you have to lose. So that's a measurable goal, because along the way, as you do your weekly check-ins and stuff, you can see how many pounds you lost, how many pounds you have left to lose, etc. You get what I'm saying? So setting goals for your business are the same way. You know, you can't set a goal. You know, maybe you say, one of my goals for 2021 is to make more money. That's great. How much more money? How much money are you making now in a month? And how much money do you want to be making? And from there, you can figure out the steps that you need to take to reach towards those goals. Another example is a goal might be, I want to be more consistent on posting to my social media. Well, that's great. How many times a week do you want to post? Because that gives you a goal. You know, I want to post 3 times a week. I want to post 4 times a week. If you say, I want to be more consistent, over time, you don't have any way to tell if you're meeting that goal or not. So it's important to set those goals, but make sure that they're measurable goals so you can tell if you're meeting them or not. And the second thing you want to do, as you keep in mind when you're setting your goals, is be specific, which is similar to having it be measurable. But what I mean by that is, for example, in 2020, one of my goals was to write a book. And now it's December 31st, and guess how many pages I wrote of that book? I didn't write any, because what happened is I never set specifics. I never set any due dates for myself. I never broke it out and said, I'm gonna write 1,000 words a week, or I'm gonna write a chapter a week, or I'm gonna have, you know, whatever. I'm going to have a fourth of the book done every quarter, because, you know, over four quarters, then I'd have a book at the end of the year. I didn't do any of that. And so I never started the book, and I never wrote the book, and I don't have a book. So, you know, dates are another thing to keep in mind there. You know, this year in 2021, I want to launch a new program, or I want to create a new product to sell, or I want to do whatever. You know, set those dates. I want to have a new product to sell by March 31st. I want to launch a new program by July 1st. So that's important too. Okay, so let's move on to the second part, which is making your plan. One of the most important things to do as you're deciding what your plan is to think about the past year. Think about 2020 and what worked and what didn't work. Now I know because of coronavirus, you know, that's kind of all over the place. You know, maybe things that didn't work in 2020 may very well work in 2021 as we move forward and hopefully get back to normal around here. So, you know, that's not exactly accurate for this year, but you can still look at what you did and what worked well and what didn't work, maybe what you want to continue but improve upon, things like that. So that's an important part of making your plan going forward, is to look at what you did, this year. You also want to look at your monetary budget, and you also want to look at your time that you have available. So, that kind of depends. If you're the one that's doing your marketing, you're going to really need to look at your time and your budget. If you hire that out, then your budget's going to be more important, because you have to think about, the cost of any services and advertising that you might do, but also the cost of the time that you're paying someone to help you with it. So, look at those budget and time resources, and that'll help you decide, realistically what you can all get done each month in your marketing plan. So once you have that figured out, then you want to think about your specific elements of how you're going to market your business. So you're going to be on social media. What platforms? You don't have to be on all the platforms. Whatever platforms you choose, though, you want to be consistent on those. So what platforms are you going to use? How many times a week are you going to post? Again, consistency is important. So, don't start your year and say, I'm going to post every single day on 4 different platforms. Unless you have a huge budget or, a lot of time on your hands, that's not really that's a lot of work. Posting 5 times a week on 4 platforms is a lot of time. So, think about that. For me, I am on all the platforms, but for my businesses, I try to post 2 to 3 times a week, because that's a little bit more realistic for me. I have some clients who we only post 2 times a week because of budget reasons. That's what makes sense for them. So think about your social media, how often you want to post, and think about the kinds of things you want to post, so you can prepare that strategy and that plan. So moving forward, it's a little easier as you create to create your content if you have that plan first, as I always say. So the next thing you want to look at is, do you have a blog on your website? Do you want to start a blog on your website? If you do, how often are you going to post to it? It takes anywhere from 3 to 6 hours to write, prepare, post, and promote a blog post. So, maybe you don't have time to do one every week. Maybe once a month is a realistic goal, maybe twice a month. It all depends on your business and what you have available. But look at that, figure out what you're going to do for your blog. Look at your email marketing. Do you have an email list? Do you send out regular email newsletters? Do you want to? Does it make sense for your business to start doing that, to build your list, to send weekly email updates? Maybe if you sell products, a weekly promotional sale email makes sense for you. Maybe if you're a service provider, more like a monthly newsletter makes more sense. So look at those things, and again, figure out the frequency and then stick with it. The other thing to think about as you're doing that planning phase is any other marketing that you want to do. Do you want to do, paid online advertising, Google, Facebook, Instagram? Do you want to do print marketing in newspapers? Do you want to do radio ads? Do you want to have a PR campaign where you submit press releases to your local newspapers? Those are all sorts of questions that you can ask yourself as far as what makes sense for your business as you're making that plan. So then the third part is keeping track of everything. So, we can't really make a plan if we don't have a way to follow it. So for me, I use Trello. You guys have heard me talk about Trello. If you'd like to learn more about it, there's a mini training series in the units section of the group here that you can check out. If you're watching this on a replay outside the group, you can come join my group and catch that Trello training in the units section. But I use it for keeping track of all of the things in my business, my to-do lists, my due dates, my planning, my content my content planning and creation. I use it for that. So, there's other softwares out there. Some people use spreadsheets, Google Sheets. Some people use Asana, Airtable, ClickUp. There's all kinds of options out there. So it's just important to be able to keep track of things. Some people use a paper planner. I actually also use a paper planner in conjunction with Trello. That's working really well for me. And you can also use Google Calendar. I kind of use Google Calendar more for like my specific appointments and events, because then it integrates to my phone and reminds me when things are happening and stuff. So you can also like integrate all of those, a lot of those softwares I mentioned integrate with Google Calendar. So regardless of how, you know, your brain and your team work, you can find a system that works for you to keep track of all of these things. Combination of what I mentioned, you know, whatever. If you need help talking through any of that, I'm happy to help answer any questions you have, to the best of my knowledge. So let me know if you need help getting a system in place on that. And then the last part of it is to evaluate and analyze along the way. So, you know, maybe right now as you're setting your schedule and your plan for 2021, you say, I'm going to post to my social media 4 times a week. I think that's going to work well. I think I have the time to do that. You know, that's what I'm going to do. Well, maybe 2 months from now, you realize that's too much, and you want to drop it down to 3 times a week. That's fine. You know, maybe you realize 4 times a week isn't quite enough, and you've got an employee that needs some extra jobs to do throughout the day, and you're going to have her post a couple times a week, so you post more, and that's great too. So, you know, whatever it is that you're doing, just it's important to keep an eye on that and see how it's going and be ready and willing to adjust it along the way. You know, plans are never set in stone, so it's okay. It's okay if you need to change it. I actually had to change my plan earlier in 2020 because my plan had me posting to all of my social media 5 times a week. And once I mixed client work into that, you know, there's just not enough time in the day. So I adjusted my plan, and it's fine. You know, you can do that. Other things to keep an eye on as far as evaluating and analyzing things go is, of course, your website analytics. You can watch those through Google Analytics. If that's not already set up on your website, you should get that done. You can watch your social media insights. You know, Facebook, Instagram are the 2 big ones I know that most everybody uses, but you know, there's lots of insight data within those apps that you can look at to see how your posts are performing, when your followers are online, what posts people like versus what posts they didn't really like as much. Gives you a really good idea of what to do more of, you know, along the way. And you also want to track those email marketing stats if you're sending email campaigns. So it's important to keep an eye on how many emails are getting opened, how many of your links are getting clicked on, how many people aren't reading your emails, you know, things like that. That can also help you adjust your plan to see, you know, maybe what might be a better day and time to send those emails, things like that. So if you have any questions about any of this, just, you know, feel free to ask me in the comments. Feel free to send me a message. I also just wanted to shoot a quick reminder in here that I do offer consulting and support related to all of these things. So I have an annual plan I'm offering this year that gives you a little bit of a discount off of doing it month to month, but I also have a monthly plan where, you know, basically we just get together once a month, talk through your business and your plans and what you want to get done, go over any questions you have, help you with anything you might need on that, and then there's also some ongoing support included in that too. So if you need help getting anything going that, you know, for the new year, I'm always here. And I thank you for watching today, and I hope you all have a very happy new year. Cheers to 2021. Have a good day, guys. Bye.